Welcome to the Granada House Podcast, coming to you from Granada House Studios in North Park, San Diego.
I'm Hannah Russell, and I'm here with my co-host Kyle Palahniuk, and together we explore how to live a meaningful, balanced life. Right, Kyle?
That's right, Hannah. We bring real conversations and inspiring stories to help you live life on your own terms. Well, hello, everyone. We're here again, believe it or not. And now it's
the new year. It's 2025.
It's January, what?
I don't know the date. Don't
16th?
really do dates.
16th.
We're like middle
like
month.
That.
Yeah.
Enough to where there's been some chatter about, New Year's.
New Year's.
Resolutions.
New year, new you. How are you feeling today, Kyle?
What is it that you've resolved this year? Anything?
Wow.
A New Year's resolution.
I was asking how you were. I was going to ask how you were because you're a little tired because you made a New Year's resolution.
I just had a little midday shot of coffee. I'll be all right. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Yeah, but what have you been doing since the new year? Because new year, new you.
Oh, yeah. I feel more motivated, just that my birthday is creeping up. It's a big one, a big 4-0. And I just, felt like my health kind of got off the rails a little bit. And it's like, well, they say, I love this quote, what's the best time to plant a tree? Mm-hmm. And the answer is, I don't know, 10 years ago, right? But then you say, what's the next best time to plant a tree? Right now. So I know I had
December
one of those.
December 31st, 2024.
No. This was a long time in the making. For me, I just feel motivated to get back on the rails when it comes to a healthy, balanced life. You need good mental health. Mm-hmm. You need good physical health. Mm-hmm. And, in this life, we can't have it all. So when your priorities shift, you find yourself making different habits, and when those priorities no longer align with where you want to go, you have to make a big motion to change the habit. So that whole progression of, in my mind, this idea of what I want to do, it coincided with the end of the year. Well, but I will not admit that it's a New Year's resolution that I want to get healthy.
I was going to say,
I will not be a cliche.
We're kind of going around the point here. I was like, what did you do in the New Year? And you gave us the whole spiel. So basically everyone, Kyle's been working out every day and he's really tired today.
Yeah. The working out thing, that's not a big deal. I've done a lot of that through my life. I just think my eating habits were just... you eat conveniently when you feel like you have no time.
Yes.
And I blame my kids.
I blame city tacos.
Kids, it was your fault, but I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
It was all your fault.
Well, you've been doing well.
Thank you.
I noticed a really big flip really quickly.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen you get up at 6:30 in the morning consistently.
I got up at 6 today and yesterday.
Right.
I did not want to get up at 6 either day.
Look, you're just going through the hard spot right now.
So
because you just threw yourself into it.
A lot of people, I don't like the New Year's thing because I just don't like the idea of being one of those statistics. Mm-hmm. Nor do I think that I'm in the top 5% of people that will endure and I will make it through. But, that's not going to stop me from still doing what I want to do.
No.
I like this idea of waking up on my birthday and just feeling like I'm treated my body well. Yeah. No, feeling energized is great. That's an outcome. I think for me it's a mental exercise to honor my body. Mm-hmm. Something happened recently for me when I do a lot of philosophical research and things like that. I always talk about it.
I do.
And one thing, I never subscribed to this whole idea with this religious way of looking at treat your body like a temple. And it's okay. Mm-hmm. But for me, it was always use your body as much as you can.
Which is also good.
Let's get some scars. Let's push it to the max. And now I just so obvious, something clicked where it was just actually you wouldn't have this opportunity if it weren't for your body. Like, I have a big mind-body identity thing where I am not my body. Like, I don't feel like my body. Like, me, I'm separate, right? And I often, like, will look at my body from imaginative angles and say, like, what is this person doing?
Yeah.
So it's not like I have split personality, but it's more like, it's like a rental car. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't really, it's a rental car.
That's how you were looking at your body.
And now it's like, no, this is all you've got for this chance on this earth right now. Do I think that I will have another chance? Yeah, I do. I believe in that.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean I can run this thing to the ground.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, when do you think your mind flipped into like, oh, maybe I'm not driving a rental anymore. Maybe I actually own my own car.
It was not even that long ago where I wanted a reason to apply all the different ways that people, that I've heard people really respectfully take care of themselves. As people say, take care of themselves. I take care of myself, but it was always more of a mental thing, you know? And I've even been called like gluttonous by a close friend before, because it's like, oh, you just do whatever you want. You eat what you want, whatever. I mean, I keep it within reason or else I would be sick, you know?
Right.
But, and I'm not doing this from like, I want to feel better. I want to not be sick. It's actually just like, all right, bro, like, let me just lay some love on you. And that's hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get up early. You don't have to get up early, but you have to create new habits. And so I recently met this person who helped a friend of mine who, we had a lot in common, you know, both athletes, played soccer, into music, kids, you know, similar point in lives. And he was able to, I saw his transformation. I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Yeah. I need a sort of a physical makeover, if you will. It's not about appearance. It's not about anything else more than just like, I owe this to you, and there's nothing bad that's going to come out of this, right? So long as it's done in a healthy way.
Okay, I like that. That's a better kind of motivation, I feel, than I just want to look really good.
Yeah, I mean, like, people are going to have different motivations.
That's like your typical New Year's resolution, right?
No, I want to feel hot. You know, I want to feel sexy.
Of course, but that is like a reward of what you're doing. But your bigger motivation is deeper than that.
I think I know what answer you were fishing for, and that is, as you get older, your body chemistry changes, your metabolism slows down, a lot of priorities change mentally, and I think catching up and. I wanted to do this before I had a real wake-up moment where it was like, oh, your cholesterol is really high, or, oh, you know, all of a sudden, you know, you just feel not good because you're getting older or something. I really, timing was good here because I need to get ahead of that. I've heard of so many people. I'm not saying that I didn't have that stuff happening. I already notice it. So it's not like, oh, good thing I haven't started to age yet, you know. Yeah. But I, you know, there is not a better time than as soon as you're ready, as soon as you think you're ready, right?
Lining it up with the start of 2025.
But honestly, this is just going to happen in the background here, so we don't have to talk about me.
I wanted to because I noticed, and then we were also talking about, you know, should we talk about New Year's resolutions, which I used to do a lot of when I was younger, and I don't really do that anymore, but you know, it's not a bad thing to think about what you want for the new year. So absolutely I thought I would start talking about you because I have noticed.
Well, I like goal setting. I mean, I think what are some of your resolutions here?
Resolutions? I mean, I consistently have the goals throughout the year. They don't have to line up with the start of 2025. So I do.
You're avoiding it too.
No, because I agree with you with the New Year. I don't really do the New Year's resolution thing.
Yeah.
But you know, it is still motivating. That's like New Year. You know. Yeah. So I'm not as like gung ho, I guess, on like setting a New Year's resolution at the start of the year, but I did think about it. And obviously there's some things that I want to achieve this year, some dancing things, some business goals for myself. But I was actually thinking a lot about the Four Agreements, that book that we've both read.
Yeah.
Because I listened to it. Like, I listened to my books on Audible because I never have time to read them. And I was listening to that recently, and I was like, I think I want to be better this year about keeping true to my word. Not necessarily to other people, but just like to myself.
You are your word.
Yes.
And
in just like small little things, like I said I was going to be there at 10 a.m. So like, let's not be there at 10:02 a.m. And if someone wants me to be there at 10 a.m. and I don't think I'm going to make it, then say from the very beginning,
why not strive
10:15.
for excellence? Why try to shave corners or
because I usually I'm not someone that doesn't completely stay true to my word, but like it's just like little things every year, like cutting the corners, and it's like, can I just consistently for myself stay true to my word? So it's like, I said I was going to train these days of the week, so like actually train.
So that's a resolution. And I mean, reading the book, by the way, everyone listening should read this book called The Four Agreements. It's if you're not a reader, you can still read it in a day or two. It's very easy to read. It's simple. And I think, so for me, I found it, the first thing I noticed was validating, because I've always naturally been good at making commitments to myself, but that doesn't mean like I always did. It's just about getting there. But I've always held like, I like to use the word commitment instead of like in the book. It's more like about an agreement with yourself. But I like agreement.
I mean,
too.
it means the same thing. It's just the title.
Exactly, exactly. But what I loved about the book is the other tips, and that's namely, not taking anything personally, and that sent me off.
That was a good one, yeah.
That sent me off in this big journey about like what our lives are to other people, even like. To not take something personally is the tip of the iceberg of what it can embody as you go through life, knowing that your life is not, your reality is not someone else's reality. Like to anybody.
I mean, that's huge.
So, I mean, without going into a big philosophical meander, just resting on the concept, and it's okay that the all is mind, right? So these are like ancient Hermetic thoughts. Everything, and you have to be at peace with this, but everything that you experience is right inside your head.
Right.
So we don't even know what truth, reality is outside of that. So not taking something personally means being that mirror for yourself and saying, oh, well, it's a little more pleasurable to assume the most optimistic thing here. Maybe they mean differently. Maybe this wasn't targeted toward me. Why would they want to do that?
Don't make assumptions. I think don't make assumptions. Is that in that same chapter?
That's basically, I was rolling those things together. Like, don't make assumptions. Don't take anything. Yeah. Anyway, when that book was recommended to me by one of my closest friends, Mr. Anthony, who I hang out with every single day, in Granada House. One of the coolest gifts that I've received. So here you go. Read the book if you haven't.
Read the book. It's really not hard, and it just gets your mind ticking. And then I think my other resolution that I kind of made to myself was I just want to be better with like people's names. Or when I'm in like a conversation with them, because I, in my field of work, meet so many different people all the time. And like sometimes it's a little overwhelming because it's like, I can't have really great relationships with like every single person I meet, but I can remember their name because, I have, like I do a lot of emceeing and hosting around the country. People don't really know that. But, there's like kids that I see a year later and they're like, oh my gosh, we're so excited you're back. And I'm like, who are you?
There's
and I
nothing
don't want to be
better,
that way.
but
I want to remember
it's more
their name.
about, look at it from a positive thing, like a positive motivator instead of not wanting, like, there's not a better feeling than when you end a conversation and you don't know the person's name, but then they will recite yours and they're respecting your reality or something, or it's like, yeah, I mean, it shows they're really listening or something.
And that's the biggest reason too. Like really listening.
What do you think about it? Like, okay, sorry, real quick, I have a question. You ever been to a
Whoa. Kyle just got very animated.
You ever been to a coffee shop and like where you go a lot?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Okay. You walk in day one, hey, I'll have this. Okay, thanks. And then, okay, day two, oh yeah, what's your name? Okay. And then you kind of do the name exchange. Well, maybe the third or fourth, fifth, sixth time. I mean, why is it that the barista knows all the names, but the customers will forget the barista's name? Because the barista has a taller order here. There's like them and there's just like hundreds of people. But if each person's consistently having this exchange, why is it so hard to remember the barista's name? You know, is it like a mindset that you're going into? But no, I think it's habit, and I just think it's like the context and the way that the exchange and the energy is flowing and how I think a lot of them do it in the name of customer service.
Yes.
Right? But what's your motivator as a client or as a recipient, as the person purchasing the coffee? You know, because I want to, but for some reason I find it harder
to just like ask for
I remember
their
the
name.
names of all my clients. But it's like when I am the client, it's harder for me to remember the name of the barista.
Right. So like, I mean, I want to be better learning people's names for like business purposes, but also just in my personal life, because exactly like what you said, when you meet someone and you remember their name, it's just like, it's an amazing feeling. It's like, oh, they listened maybe to everything that I just said in that conversation, and just remembering their name maybe
it's that much better.
Shows that person that you listened to everything, you heard them, they were heard, they were seen.
Yeah. I've been trying to get better at this too. Have you ever noticed the flow of like when the conversation's over and you're just meeting them for the first time, and then you both do the little dance that's like, oh yeah, thanks, Hannah. Yes. And then they say, oh yeah, nice to meet you, Kyle. And you close it off, button it up at the end of the conversation. That's something that I should add to my little learn name.
Just
say it again
at the end.
Yeah, because especially if you both button it up, you'll remember. You know.
Yes. So yeah, that's my two
great
little
goal. I mean,
resolutions. Especially like, you know, I teach a lot of dancing and stuff too, like, and a lot of workshops. So it's like I want to remember the kids' names in the first workshop, because I hate not using someone's name, because everyone has a name, they're not a number. So yes, it's hard though when you're like, you know, you're meeting someone for the first time. What's your name? My name's Stacy. Have a conversation. Oh no, what's the name again? You know.
Well, there's a difference between memorization, right, and memorization skills, and then attributing honor and respect toward even a short conversation with someone that you just met. Because like you walk into a group, like I think I walked into a group of some of your friends recently.
Oh yeah.
And I was like kind of doing. I did the practice of the memorization, but I think like the next thing is basically like have even a few exchanges of words with each of them, and then remember, you know, like what the association of the name is with that short piece of conversation.
Right.
So Ken, Kendall, right? I know he's Ken because I just made that, and then maybe that's normal for him.
I mean, he knows that.
Because he was wearing a really cool shirt, and I thought that was artistic. Yeah. So I think I started doing little
so you
natural,
really obviously did do that in your head.
Well, I didn't really notice I was doing it, but I think at some point I thought about like, hey, I should try doing that. But if I were just to go hey, there's 20 people, look at their faces and remember the names. My memory skills at a platonic level,
it's a hard thing to do, but there are some people that are really good at it. So you can, I guess if we're going back to the idea of the 4 agreements, one of those agreements is always do the best that you can.
Do the best you can.
So.
But I think, okay, let's talk about that in the context of the new year, because the idea is about how do we do better? How do we get better? So if someone's out there listening and they're the type that's like, I don't, same like.
I don't really do resolutions because,
it's just lame.
It's
like,
just a thing.
I mean, also I agree with you, people. And it's lame. Like, I went to the climbing gym on Thursday, like I always do with Bodhi, and there were like 25% more people there. And I'm like, oh, clearly you got a membership for the first time, but that's not good. That's not the right way to look at it. And if you're looking down on a way to, or a window of opportunity that is this cultural thing that we tend to do, embrace it. Let people do their thing, but empower them. Like when you flip the script and you say, hey, you just got a gym membership for the first time. Let's go. Like every little thing that you do for somebody like that is going to help them go further and change the overall picture. And then sooner or later, you'll get motivated or someone will help you out when you need it. And so I don't know. Those thoughts are there. I think I'm not saying like the people listening to this are like that, but I have those thoughts, and I'm just like, annoying.
Look, setting a New Year's resolution, if you're a New Year's resolution person, go for it, because it's a great time. And if you're not a New Year's resolution person,
go for it.
Are you going for it in June? But it's a good thing.
I think go for it when you're ready. Well, we talked about at the beginning,
people, right?
It's like I wanted to start this little goal that I had months ago. I kind of knew I wasn't ready. Like things had to like kind of line up for me. And you don't want to wait, but also like when you have that little window of opportunity, that's where I think, it is definitely worth it.
Yeah, totally. So
business goals for Granada House, for myself. Well, today we were talking about different ways to incorporate visuals and video into like getting the word out there for what it is we do, right? And I like to think about, you could call it marketing or promotional things, but it's like, I think a lot of it is just like, how do we stay current where irrelevant, or stay relevant, not irrelevant. And for me, I like to look at the strategy from which we devise this plan to create some videos to capture people's attention, right? To explain who we are. I like to derive that from being excited about what it is we do, and the call to action, as they say. They say in marketing and stuff, you always have a call to have a hook, and then we got to play the game a little bit, but the call to action is really just like, it's just a message that says, hey, we want to hear what it is that you have to share to the world, and we want to help you. For example, in our case, what we happen to do well is like helping people buy homes, right? So we do that with love and care and expertise. So that like is the only way in my brain that I can like sort of market where it doesn't sound like total bullshit, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, hey, we have the lowest interest rates.
No. Like, but someone who has never bought a home before.
It's like, don't they want to know someone who they can trust, right?
They need someone who they can trust, because I'm a big fan of like the business bullshitter. I have like a radar for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and if I was buying a home.
Yeah.
Which, I may do in the future, I'd have no idea where to start. So really, I want someone that's going to be real, and chat to me on a personal level. And then also someone that's willing to like break down these things that I don't understand, so I don't feel like I'm getting what's the word, like tricked in any way. You know? So and then a home is also a really special thing. It's like you're looking for a home that's not just a structure, but you're looking for somewhere where you can build your life. So I think that starts with the person that is going to help make it happen and make it possible. So
I've been thinking about that a little bit. Like, I wonder how many people out there that are kind of toying with that idea now that the New Year's rolled around. Like, oh, we should start looking at that. Like, I'm not trying to turn this into a commercial. Like, call me, no, but like,
but it is
no, but really, like, I wonder. I am thinking about my own business.
Yeah, no, of course.
So let's look at it from that angle here. Like, what kind of signals, what kind of bat signals can we put out there? Hey, we do this, you know, like, I don't know.
Well, this is a bat signal right now. Kyle, Jim, and Anthony from the Granada House will help you buy your new home.
Yay.
Yeah, but also if you have any questions and you have no idea where to start, you can just come into Granada House every single day because we're open, because we're also a gallery.
Yeah.
You know, and an event
space. It's so exciting what's happening now with that. We're finally going to get proper gallery lighting. Did you hear about this whole thing?
I did. I've heard it. The idea's swelling.
We almost actually bought the system, but it was like, then of course, like someone we know is like, and they're in lighting manufacturing, so they were like, oh no, you can't buy that because it's not good enough quality. You can get that at Home Depot. And we're like, oh. Yeah. Dang, because we could have like just had it. We probably would have been fine, but now we have to be like, okay, yeah, you're right. We want to be like, we want to have the good stuff. So, but yeah, that's still making good progress, and then we're looking into improving the musical experience by acoustic tiles in the ceiling. So,
cool.
Working with our designer Paige to make sure that when you walk in, you still feel that openness of the ceiling, but you don't have the boominess that is the musical reverberation that nobody really wants, because it makes it sound noisy instead of pleasant. So,
yeah, I mean, so I guess these are our little Granada House goals for 2025. I'm all about it. Because maybe people don't know. I feel like when people walk past Granada House, they're like, oh, they do like events in there, or they walk past and they're like, oh, that's the mortgage lending office. It's like
half of them are like
one or the
other. Do what?
Let me tell you right now, if you're in North Park and you walk past Granada House, open every day.
Yeah.
And you can walk in and you can just ask us anything, really. You can see the gallery, the artist that we have on display. You can ask Kyle, Anthony, or Jim about home lending.
I can't say details, but oh yeah, about home lending. We were putting an A-frame sign out for a while, like, hey, ask us about, and it worked, kind of. So, but no, we have a new artist coming, but I can't say who it is yet. But it's in the works, and it's gonna be sweet, because not only does he remind me of my good friend, childhood friend, Damon DeWitt shout out Damon, from Orlando, who uses a lot of imaginary sort of type aesthetic and lots of colors. It's complementary to that, which is like my style. Kind of like also our first artist, Barbara Smith. Her work is absolutely incredible.
I mean, I don't think I was around when she was here, but I'm excited.
It's all on the
color.
website. You can look at all of our past granada-house.com/art. You can, and I've been actually keeping that up. And anyway, this new person we met at a art festival in Little Italy. It was like Little Italy Art Walk or something down in San Diego. And Bodhi was like, oh, I want to go over there. And so Bodhi, my son, was like enthralled, and
Bodhi's 8, right?
7.
7. Okay.
But he actually bought a piece. Bodhi bought his first piece of art, and it's crazy because he keeps it like next to his bed, like right there. Like,
oh wait,
he has his little treasures.
No, I remember this because he came out to my little place and he was like, "I've got this art. Where should I put it?" And I said to him, "You should put it in your bedroom."
Oh,
yes, he did. Yeah. So it's really neat that, you know,
it's really neat that, you know, we have this, like, art festival, and it's like, oh, I want to go over there. And so Bodhi was like, oh, I want to go over there. And so he actually bought a piece. Bodhi bought his first piece of art, and it's crazy because he has his little treasures. Oh, really?
I remember this because he came out to my little place and he was like, I've got this art. Where should I put it? And I said to him, you should put it in your bedroom. Yes,
So
he
it's really neat that so we get to feature his work, and maybe next time I'll be able to tell you who it is, but that's exciting. One last thing to cap this off, I wanted to ask you, because I think it's also important, like, in what we do with the team each year, even if it's like January 17th, and we haven't done it yet for last year, but what were your goals last year? Do you remember them? And what do you have anything?
Like a reflection moment.
Because think about it. If you want to succeed in anything, of course, don't look back is great advice for certain things, but when you can reflect and see trends from what worked and what didn't and learn from that, not only can it help keep you on a good trajectory, but it can also keep you from the wrong trajectory, So think about your life is only at this moment right now. We talked about the moment last week. I think we opened our podcast talking about the moment for like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But the moment is the only thing that's really exists. But your moment can be defined with this sort of curve, this trajectory of, like, if you just did a bunch of bad things, you're probably going to do another bad thing, right? If you've done a lot of great things, you're probably going to do another great thing. So if you look back at your goals and you give yourself some slack, some credit for the things, especially that are not in your control, and that's a whole different conversation. But by the way, goals should not be results, right?
They should be like continuous. I've done
lag
a lot.
goals versus lead goals. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I have different names for them, but I've done a lot of this sort of work.
I can't remember. I'm really bad with who came up with these different concepts, but yeah.
When I worked at Lululemon, we talked about continuous goals.
Well, yeah. So however you want to think about it, a goal should be more of like things that you can actually control. So
the process.
They're just decisions in the future.
Yeah.
So habits are things that you naturally do without giving really a lot of thought to it. That's why they're hard to break, because it takes conscious thought. But a goal is about conscious thought in the future. So at least for me, and I hope everyone's identifying the different things that you're good at and that you are not. One thing that I have never been good at is the disciplinary, long-term, sustained focus that is staying with actions or decisions, or I like to call them strategies, because in economics we learned that a strategy is a comprehensive approach, meaning you have a plan for everything that could happen. So I base all of my philosophy on life and how I go forward with whatever I'm doing on strategic thought, which essentially is your plan for how you're going to go about that goal, and then thus creating habits. And don't expect anything to be different if you're not working hard at it every single day to change it and whittle it down to exactly how you want it right then. And I think the coolest thing about it is, like, you're never going to get there. Like, you're going to end your life and you're not going to be satisfied with the final result. But you can be satisfied with all the decisions that you decided to do. Like, if you ask anyone on their deathbed, right, what is the thing that they always say? It's talking about, wishing they would have done more, been nicer, all the things that makes them comes out all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So do you have to be on your deathbed to do that? No.
You could do it.
You can reflect right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be New Year's.
So you asked me what mine was for last year?
I want to know. Yes, sorry. Okay. I want to know how
in terms of everything that you've just said.
Without judging yourself, I want to hear about a couple of wins, and I want to hear about something that maybe a mark you didn't hit.
Okay.
This is okay.
So I think I went into I was like, what year are we in? 2024. And I was on tour, and I hadn't done a lot of Bluey, yeah.
Which is amazing.
Everyone's like, what? She was on
yes,
Bluey.
Bluey.
We can talk about that another day. The Bluey, yeah. I was on tour, and I hadn't done a lot of dancing for a very long time. I'd spent a year being distracted by a relationship and a few other things. So, I've always wanted to do the Rockettes, and I've always wanted to train for the Rockettes, and I feel like it's like a big goal of mine. That's the result.
The Rockettes.
That is the Rockettes.
The Rockettes.
Yes.
There's only
that
one.
is the result, right? And I'm like, I've done all this dance stuff. I really just want to do the precision training.
Okay, because you're in New York, and that's your home base. Rockettes are legendary. Okay.
Yeah. And so I saved all my money from Bluey, and I was like, I'm going to invest in some precision training. And, I'm 32 years old, and I haven't done a lot of this precision training, nor have I been dancing for a good year and a bit.
So that's a thing.
So
precision training is
precision
a
jazz
thing?
training, yeah.
Okay.
Which is what you do to
So you have to explain to us
non-dancers, yeah. You do the precision training that's going to help you with the Rockettes, because they're obviously the best in the world at precision.
These are people that you hire, and then they just basically like say, oh, here's all the things that they would have pointed out, and this is how to fix them before you go and try out or something?
Yeah, there's a lot of workshops offered in New York right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to do my goal really quickly, a little wrap up.
It's okay.
So basically, my goal was I'm going to invest in doing all these precision workshops. Also, I know these girls have been training that do these workshops like nonstop for years. Some of them are like, most of them are 10 years younger than me. But I'm like, now is my time. I now have the money to invest in this. I'm probably going to look like a silly sausage. So
no, I doubt that.
I'm going to throw myself into this training, and I'm going to commit to it for the entire 2024. Every month that I'm not on tour, I'm going to make sure I'm in a workshop. So I did that. And then in the month of, when did I start doing it? February, March, April. The audition was in April. So I did 3 months, and I did like every workshop that I could possibly do. And I felt a little bit crazy because I was getting all this new stuff thrown at me. But I did it anyway. I didn't know a lot of the girls. Like,
it was uncomfortable, right?
It was really uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's like basically a requirement for achieving anything.
Like, I had many, many moments with myself where I was like, what am I doing? And then I was like, no, you've just got to do it. So I did it, and I made it the furthest in the audition that I've ever made it. And no, I did not get the show. I didn't, get down to the very, very end. But I was so excited.
But aren't you still doing it? Like,
I am. I was like, when I got to that day 2 audition, I was just like ecstatic with myself, because like I would have never made it that far.
But again, that's actually a really great story, because so the answer is, or the end, you weren't like that. You didn't have that on a pedestal. You didn't have the result on a pedestal. That's what's good about it.
My thing was, I need to focus on the steps to get that result, and my goal is to continuously focus on the steps. And so like in a space of like 3 months before that audition, I really was like super uncomfortable. So, but it paid off, because I feel like I did the best that I'd ever done.
You probably
and then
learned
they
things
saw
that you
that
never would
too.
have thought that you would have learned, right?
Oh, I did. And my, what do they say? Shoot for the moon and fall among the stars.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
And I was like not gonna say it, because that's like cosmologically like not accurate. But but I actually love that. Yes.
Yeah, shoot for the. We need it on a t-shirt.
Oh no, please.
Granada House, shoot for the moon, fall among the stars.
Unless it's a rainbow shirt, and it's like including cats.
Well, that's not cosmetology. Well, I can't even say that word. That's not
neither
correct.
Neither are rainbows or shooting. What are you shooting? A gun? I mean, like, don't shoot a gun up in the air, everybody. It's gonna land at some point back on the earth. It's not gonna get out into outer space, and it will land and it will hurt something.
Wow. Anyways, yeah. Okay. Okay. This is the part where we look at our analytics and people like exit the podcast. No, I'm joking.
NRA enthusiasts, we just lost them.
Yeah.
Just lost the whole demographic.
Right. Or gained them. Yeah. Anyways.
Are we going to talk about guns?
No. Well, maybe.
Maybe in another episode.
You're talking to an Australian right now. I think maybe what did I learn from doing that? Throw yourself in there, shoot for the moon, fall among the stars.
I'm proud of you for
I have momentum now.
Good job.
Momentum. So, like, you know, when you do something, it builds momentum.
Yeah. And
then you get, like, addicted to it.
I'll just quickly share. I had 2 goals, one of which, well, I had like 4, but I won't talk about the other 2 because it's a long story. But I wanted to get our house on some kind of home exchange app. Yeah. Wow, that was quite a process. I'm not going to go into details. It was hard. It was hard, not only on me, but my partner, my wife. Mm-hmm. But she was on board with me, and it was a lot of work. But the goal was to do it. It wasn't like, and then I hope to go on a free vacation. Mm-hmm. And in turn, what happened was we ended up, I wanted to exchange our home for a month, and in that same month, go and live somewhere else for free. But it didn't work out like that, but it still worked in its own way, which was really cool. And the experience was amazing. I also thought that going to Costa Rica would plant a seed to where we could like set up where we could do our year, because we want to do in the next 5 years, we want to do a year sabbatical, right, with the family. So that's a longer term goal. But I thought that was going to be the place. No, I'm not really sure. I mean, I loved it. It was great. I'm not really sure if that's the place for us. So that's why I'm glad my goal was confined in that way. The other goal I had, which is hard to share, but there is a new venue in San Diego called Lulu's.
I like that you're putting this out there for everyone. Yeah.
When they opened, Gilbert Castellano, a friend of mine, fellow trumpet player, someone I look up to, I mean, to say the least, he's an amazing jazz trumpet player, legendary San Diego jazz musician. He was the kind of resident person there, and I was like, I bet our band could play there. And one of my goals was to play there by the end of the year. But then as the year progressed, my mindset was the same. So I ended up like furthering and changing and like just growing in my musical world. But it wasn't like a narrowed focus towards that, because that was kind of like, that was my goal that was like not really in my control. Yeah, I can't control that, but it's amazing. I didn't play at Lulu's, okay? But I could just go on forever about all the cool things that opened up for me. So set goals. I mean, you don't have to
chase them.
You don't even have to achieve them, the results, but do them. Yeah.
Exactly. So shoot for the moon.
How cliche are we right now?
Fall amongst the stars.
How many podcasts are out there talking about chasing your goal? I know.
What category do we put ourselves in?
No, I really like this chat. This was a good conversation, and I think that I'm excited next time. I think next time we meet, we're going to have our first guest.
Yeah, we're gonna start hearing from some awesome people that we know.
I like this though. There's probably a few more topics we can cover if we're not ready, but
otherwise you'll just be hearing from us again.
Yeah.
So hope you're enjoying
it. Really exciting. Any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? I think about your goals for this year. Progress. Just focus on what you need to do. Take the steps. It's really summed up in Shoot for the Moon, Fall Amongst the Stars. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's going to be the title of this. That's a good title. I was like, no.
Also, don't judge people for having goals.
No, because
support them.
Everyone works differently. So
be compassionate. There's absolutely nothing
we're saying
wrong with it.
We're saying New Year's resolutions like we're going like that's lame, blah blah blah. But we've also just spent half an hour talking about how good it is if you set some goals.
Yeah, so. That's the whole point. I mean, it's cool. Honestly, anything that like has some kind of growth or positive outcome. Like, as much as things could annoy me,
growth is the...
I just have to support them.
Growth is the biggest motivator.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts from you, Kyle?
No, I just said them. And, well, I just want to acknowledge, like, my heart goes out to all the displaced families in LA and all the destruction. And I think it's really just because it's such in close proximity to us. Like, a lot of our friends groups and people we know directly have been affected, pets, families. Like, so again, I'm just going to say thank you to all of the, firefighters and all the public servants and all the people that are out there, like, uncomfortably helping, if that makes sense. Like, we're like, this is an opportunity for us as a culture, as a region, to offer support. So I appreciate the large companies that are doing what they can. I appreciate every little thing that anyone can do, so offering up your home if you're in San Diego or any place that sheltering a pet, whatever it is you can do, do that because LA is on fire.
And it's you never think it's going to be this close to home, and then it is. So we're here as well, Granada House. We're thinking about what we can do to help and support. And I think your family did talk about the dog fostering and things. As well,
we're doing it. Actually, we already had the visit and everything.
Oh,
so
nice, cool.
And
all right.
that was heavy.
I know, but it's important. So
all right,
moving on.
So thank you for listening, and we hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.
Have a
whichever
great
day
week.
it hopefully is, wherever you are, and hopefully you are listening to this, and it is in your reality as it is in ours.
Yeah, I wonder what someone else's reality is of it. Yeah. Anyways, let's wrap it up.
We're actually like animated characters or something. Maybe we're cool. Like 4-dimensional creatures.
If you want to tell us what's in your reality when you listen to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you can make a comment. Just send us
that would be cool.
Yeah, send us what's going on in your reality when you listen to us right now. We're open to all sorts of different ideas.
If we're soliciting comments, oh my God, I would love to hear what anyone listening to this wants to talk about next.
Great.
That would be amazing.
What would you like to talk about? Who do you want to hear from?
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Signing off.
All right.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
Bye.